You're listening to a podcast from 702.
Night Talk with Googs and Sizwe on 702, your number one news and talk station.
22 minutes before
Money Matters.
22 minutes before 9. Welcome back to Night Talk. It is a Wednesday, which means we deal with money matters. And on Monday, we got a call. Was it Sihle? Sihle had a question. We didn't have time to get to it, but it was about Forex trading, the do's and the don'ts, and how to make sure you don't get scammed.
Yes. Now, I don't know if you've seen this, but let's say over the last 2.5 years, perhaps 3, there has been a rise in Forex traders. There are even ads now that you can find everywhere, from Instagram to online to Twitter even, about apps that you can download and do trading yourself.
People claiming on social media that they are Forex traders. I mean, there was this one woman who, someone was showing pictures of her account, and she always has stacks and stacks and stacks of cash. And she claims she gets it from Forex trading. People are like, how does this thing work? Is it legal?
Yes, and for those that do want to find out, every time we turn around, it seems like there's some sort of seminar being held, people teaching you how to trade yourself, and of course, promising that you will be an instant millionaire. The usual rule, it's a rule of thumb, in fact. If it sounds too good to be true, it usually
probably is.
We've been here before with Triple M, but I don't want to take it as far as that just yet. Maybe let's just speak to somebody who knows more about finance than we do. Joined on the line by Simon Brown. Simon, good evening.
Good evening, Caesar. Googs.
Hello, Simon. So, Forex trading, what does it actually involve?
So, I mean, in a nutshell, a computer, an internet connection, an account, and then you trade the moves in currency. So you wouldn't trade the rand, but you would trade the difference. You know, when Bruce does his show every day, he talks about the exchange rate, and the rand to the dollar is X, and then tomorrow it has moved 10 cents or 12 cents in one direction or the other. Now, Forex traders, in theory, can profit from that move and make profits, you know, by the minute, by the day, by the week, as currencies, not just the rand and the dollar, any two currencies in the world are moving.
So if you are then, I guess, trading, are you then hedging against, are you betting on one doing well against another? So if it's between the rand and the dollar, do I then make an investment to say, I'm going to make money if the rand does really well?
Yeah, so you're 100% right. So let's say the rand is 13.70, you think it's going to 13.90, you would take a position so that if it did move to 13.90 and you were correct, you would make money. You wouldn't make just 20 cents because of gearing and the like and the complexities, but certainly you would then make a profit, yes.
Now, something else that I think we must mention, especially in light of our intro, is that there's nothing illegal about this at all. In fact, when done right, it's perfectly fine to trade in Forex. Am I correct?
Yeah, 100%. There's nothing illegal around it. So there are a couple of issues, but on the surface, it's not illegal. There are obviously exchange control regulations. So if you're moving money offshore, you need to be compliant with those. You can't take money via a credit card. You've got to do a remittance via a bank and the like. But let's assume that's all done. One of the key things, and the Forex market is the biggest trading market in the world. It's also unregulated, which is completely weird. But if you were to go and buy some shares on the Johannesburg Stock Exchange, there are layers and layers of regulation that are designed to protect me and you and the individual. In the Forex space, there is no regulation. There is no oversight body globally or nationally within countries either.
So,
and that's now where the loopholes come in, because
so
if
what
there's
happens,
no regulation,
who protects me as the customer, or even the people who are doing the trading? What recourse does anyone have?
So the short answer, Googs, is who protects you is no one. The long answer is it's the goodwill of the... So see, you're trading on a platform, and there are tens of thousands of platforms. Some are legit, a lot are completely fly-by-night, and that's part of the problem. If you get onto a fly-by-night platform and something goes wrong, you've got no protection. And yes, you can go and sue the company, but they typically, registered in countries which we're never going to visit, and they disappear a couple of weeks or months down the line. So you've got pretty much no recourse if you get thrown under the bus.
And beyond that, let's say now somebody like yourself who's got the experience, somebody who understands finance, I perhaps may have slightly more faith in you than giving my money to Gugu. No offense, Gugu, you know?
None taken. I wouldn't give me my own money.
And then expecting her to trade for me. But when somebody then says, no, you know what? You can take this into your own hands and do it yourself. I suppose it does give you some false level of comfort, but it's also still very dangerous because you're essentially gambling with your money.
You are gambling, and see, so there's something which I think we forget far too often as human beings. And, you know, if we want to learn a skill, and whether that skill is to be a plumber, a brain surgeon, a talk show host, or whatever that skill might be, we don't expect to be expert on day one. We think to ourselves, it's going to take some time. Now, you know, maybe a brain surgeon is going to take a little bit longer than some other skills, but we expect it to take time. And that time is not measured in days or even weeks. That time is measured in years. And yet the promise of these Forex scammers is, you know, come to my 2-hour course, and at the end of 2 hours, you will be a Forex trader. There is no chance. I've been trading for 22 years. I would say it took me 5 years to learn the skills, and I will happily admit that after 22 years of trading, I'm still learning. You know, and yet the promise is, you know, rich by weekend.
Yeah, so come in for the 3 hours. By the end of it, you'll know what there is to know.
Yeah, and you know, there's yes, I can teach you some basics. I mean, you know, if we go to brain surgery, I can point to the part of the body where the brain is. Nice, but not proficient enough. Certainly not proficient enough where you should be putting your hard-earned money into it with any expectation of return. In truth, you're going to lose money, and there's an important point with Forex. You can lose more than you start with. So if you start with 1,000 Rand, you could technically lose 2, 3, 4,000 Rand.
And I think that's a very important point to make because you were saying earlier on now that maybe it took you 5 years to learn the fundamentals, and after 22 years you're still learning. It's possible to have 100% grasp of the fundamentals, but because markets are markets, it doesn't guarantee that you'll always make money per trade. Just like a surgeon could understand everything they need to know about, let's call it brain surgery, but they can still lose the patient.
And that's a critical point of trading. When I'm trading, it is never my intention to be right 100% of the time for a simple reason. I literally cannot be right 100% of the time. You know, and I'll give you a quick example. If I'm right half the time, but when I'm right, I make 30 Rand. And when I'm wrong, I lose 10 Rand. Ultimately, I make money because my winners are bigger than my losers. You're going to be wrong. Maybe you're going to be only wrong 45% of the time, but that is part of trading, and that, you know, kicks open another door, which is the psychology of it. Of you've got to be comfortable at times losing money, but looking at that bigger picture.
Joined on the line by trader and investor Simon Brown for our Money Matters this week, talking about Forex trading and how to spot the legitimate ones from the fake ones and how to ensure, or at least try and prevent as far as possible, you getting scammed. And we'd like to take your calls on this, especially if you've had some experience. You can give us a shout on 011-883-0702. Send us your SMSs on 31702.
Night Talk with Googs and Sizwe on 702, your number one news and talk station.
11 minutes to 9. Welcome back to Night Talk. Sizwe Lomo, Googs and Mhlungu here with you.
Still discussing our Money Matters for this week, which looks at Forex trading, which is pretty new for a lot of people. So new, in fact, that it's largely unregulated. So it's very difficult to spot what is legit and what is not in a very big market.
Yes, and we're joined on the line by Simon Brown. In fact, all you need to do is go over to justonelap.com, find out more about him. And then Financial Week as well, Business Day TV, just lots. Speaking about finance. Sizwe. Oh, Caesar's just dropped the line. I guess we'll try and get him back. Simon, so let's then go back to the opportunities of people getting scammed when it comes to Forex. And over the last, let's call it, I've noticed it over the last 2.5 years to 3, but maybe it has been around since longer than that. I have no idea. I just feel like the number of Forex traders, in inverted commas, has been on the rise. What is the cause of this?
So I think you're 100% right. Certainly, I would agree with that. In the last couple of years, 2-3 years, we've certainly seen a significant increase in the number. I think because there certainly is a potential to make money, and some skilled folks, and not many of them, but some people do make a living off trading forex, and also just the in part the internet. What we can see on Facebook and the tweets and Instagrams and the like. We've seen a lot more out there of someone standing next to a luxury car and saying, I made this by morning tea this morning, trading forex and the like, and the proliferation of internet platforms and technology that's around it, and it starts to gather a momentum of its own. If I go back 5 years ago, I'm not sure if anyone on my Facebook timeline claimed to be a forex trader. These days, I think half of my Facebook timeline claims to be a forex trader.
Oh, man, that's so true and funny. And sad all at once, I suppose, because...
No, it is.
Okay, well, we've got another question on the SMS, and we'll get to that one later on because we've got Caesar back on the line. Caesar, good evening.
Good evening, Caesar. How are you doing?
Well, thank you very much.
Very well, thanks. I just want to speak about the psychological aspect to trading. I found most of the times where I've actually lost a lot of money is when I have made trades that were emotional or impulsive, or trades that I made because I felt overly confident because I'd had a few good days of trading. And I've found, even though I've staked myself correctly in the markets and I've done the reading and I know pretty much how I want to trade for the day, and I've set my buy stops or sell stops, when I realize I'm making a good profit and I'm feeling very confident about it and the market swings, I then find myself losing money. And it's actually a very difficult thing to get right. From time to time, I actually find myself not trading for a while so I can readjust myself, because sometimes you feel that you're not making money, and you sometimes want to make back the money. So you trade, and sometimes you make some impulsive trade, even though the market isn't great, or you're unsure of where to stake yourself. So there's another difficult thing. Even though you may know what you're doing, and you may know where you want to stake yourself, if you don't get your emotions in check, you will lose a lot of money.
Very good points. In hip-hop terms, they call it gassing yourself up. So once you go into a trade and you gassed and you're feeling yourself too much, for example, you're like, I can't lose, I'm on a streak.
That's when you lose.
Yes. And then other times you may go into despondent thinking, oh, what the hell, let's try it anyway.
And it works.
Sometimes, or you may lose even further, then commit suicide. But hopefully it doesn't get that bad.
That became very morbid very quickly.
Hey, man, finance is a rough business. Simon can tell you.
It is, and Caesar is 100% right. When you start to trade, the last thing you expect is the psychological, the emotional side, but it is very real. We're talking about money here, something which, as human beings, we have a very emotional and not often a positive emotional response with money. And it blindsides you, and you think you've learned some ropes, and then suddenly the emotional side comes and you've almost got to start again.
2 questions on the SMS line. Somebody first asking, can you explain how in Forex trading you can lose more money than you initially invested?
Yes. So this is also true of futures, and contracts are different. So it's really quite simple. So that example I used earlier where the rand is going from 1350 to 1370. Let's say you buy 100,000 rands worth of rands to make that move, but you don't pay 100,000 rand. And we call this margin or gearing. We've got some fancy lingo in the industry. But say you're taking 100,000 rand exposure. In other words, that's how much money you are putting in a position. But you only pay a deposit of maybe 1,000 rand. So you've got, it's like buying a 100,000 rand house, but only putting a 1,000 rand deposit down. And that's fine if things go in your favor and it amplifies that move for you. But of course, if things go against you, you can lose your 1,000 rand very quick, but the value of the position has only gone from 100 to 99. What happens if it goes to 95 or 90,000? Then suddenly, if it drops to 90,000, you've lost 10,000 rand. You only had 1,000 rand. You owe that other 9,000 rand. Now, there's a trader will put stop losses and stuff in position, but that is the stark reality of what can happen to you.
So when you then are at a shortfall, you owe money, who do you owe it to?
So you owe it to your platform, to your provider.
Aha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, when they owe you money, if they're a scam, they might not pay. But trust me, when you owe them money, they take it quite seriously.
So there are two tweets about the trading or the training. Tabo saying most of the Forex traders cash up by selling software which they claim costs up to 20,000 Rand or so. Someone else saying Forex trading is a lie. 10 people pay 10,000 Rand to be trained. The scammer makes 100,000 Rand just from training you. So saying the money is really in being the trainer and not necessarily being the person in the training session.
100%. And both those are comments are correct. So there's two ways the scam runs. They both start with a free presentation. Come on a Saturday morning or a Tuesday evening or something like that. And you get a free presentation, and then you get offered either a software package or further training courses that are then, expensive, 10, 20. I've seen courses for 50,000 Rand. And they then promise to give you insight and secrets and all of that sort of thing. And the scam's really quite simple. Every platform in the world gives you free software, so you don't need the software. And we live in 2017, and the internet is full of legitimate training, videos and stuff. I mean, you go to YouTube, you go to my website, you go to any of the providers' websites, they've got free educational material that is probably superior in quality to the courses that you're going to pay 5, 10, 20, 30,000 Rand for.
The second question on SMS line pertains to Triple M, and the person was asking if they're a bit out of topic, what happened to Triple M. And very, very simply, Triple M got shut down in South Africa. Then went to Nigeria, got shut down there as well, but I think it's going to kick off in about a day or two there. I'm not quite sure.
And it's also coming back with a different currency, a cryptocurrency.
Vusi Davidson, good evening.
Hey, how's it, guys?
We well, thank you, Vusi.
Yeah, I've had my fair share of trading in my lifetime, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
I was a crude trader working for one of the reputable companies. In 2008, I lost 3 million. Yeah?
Sorry, in 2008, what happened?
I lost 100 million.
Whoa.
Yeah? It was bad. I was long. When the markets were falling, I lost 100 million. At that time, the rate to a dollar was 10. It was like $10 million. So it was 100 million. So I met a guy by Jonathan Blom. He told me that, Vusi, trading, you need to understand one thing. Greed will kill you. Yeah? And you need to understand the underlying commodity. Once you don't understand the underlying commodity, you're gone. Yeah? So it is by the time I was trading crude. Yeah? So I got to understand that there's what we call speculation. You speculate, you hear someone telling you that the rand is going to go up or down or this, and that. No one actually gets those kind of news. So I stuck to technical analysis, yeah. So meaning that, it goes now deeper. When someone says you'll be a trader after 3 sessions, after 3 days or 4 days, it takes years. You need to understand what the philosophy is around trading, yeah. So I've met a lot of guys, coming to me saying, oh, Vusi, now we're trading, they call them binaries, yeah. We make millions, hundreds of millions, and this and that. That doesn't work. Yeah, people are really taken for a ride. I say trading. I had to go to courses in Geneva, in London, until I understood this. Once I understood this, I banked $500 million for the company that I work for. Yeah. Today, I'm working for myself, but I cannot go into this.
Unfortunately, this is where we need to leave it, unfortunately, because we're running out of time, and we'd just like to hear back from Simon before we wrap up this bit. But thank you very much for that. Simon, I guess very, very, very quickly, the rule of thumb, then, if you're going to be trading in Forex, is never take a position that's bigger than what you can actually settle, if you need to settle?
Agreed 100%. Never take large positions. Know who your provider is. Check them out. Visit their offices if you can. Google them. And don't expect to be rich anytime soon. Expect this to take a number of years before you're proficient and able to actually sort of make some money from it.
Thank you very much, Simon Brown, trader and investor. And you can find out more from Simon on justonelap.com.